Hello, everyone. Welcome to Music Scene Investigation. Rich Wildman here with you. Glad to have you with us this week. It's going to be a very interesting show. I can guarantee you that. What that means, I have no idea other than it's going to be interesting. Whether it's going to be fun or not is up to our musicians, the guys and gals we've selected to play on the broadcast, your participation out in the audience, and of course, our panelist who we'll hear from in just a little bit. Again, a quick congratulations going out to Pinky and his culinary skills, I guess is what you call it. Apparently, this guy's a master chef. Didn't tell anybody until we dug some pictures up. We showed you those last week. You can take a look at them on YouTube. Of course, you can go to iTunes and download last week's broadcast as well to find out what Pinky looks like. And just a hint, he's not the scary guy with the mohawk. At least that's my understanding. So just thought I'd throw that out there in case you were wondering when you see the picture, it's not him.
Maybe Pinky will put them in his blog for us on his weekly cleanup. I mean, I must say, the cooking's all well and good, but, you know, the vacuuming hasn't been done. The toilets are a state, and that's just the start of it.
It happens, I guess. Pinky getting a little lax in his old age. I mean, he's cooking a lot. He may have burned his hands or something like that. I don't know.
When he says he's cooking, I mean, you look like Walter White from Breaking Bad. I reckon he's your Jesse Pinkman.
I've never seen Breaking Bad at all. By the way, Ian Husbands, our panelist from London, England. Ian, I've never seen Breaking Bad at all.
Oh, you don't know what you're missing. 5 series of absolute genius television. Watch it.
Well, maybe someday I will.
You could play Elite Dangerous and watch Breaking Bad at the same time.
You think?
Well, it sounds like with your connection, you're going to be going slow in your spaceship anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. I almost guarantee that. There is no speed in internet where I'm at. The cows move faster.
Cows move faster.
The cows move, M-O-V-E, faster. See what I got to put up with, everybody. London, England is kind of the way it is. Ian, you have some witness statement results from last week. I hold in my hand here the artist from last week. They're very heavy, by the way. They're real people, and getting them all to fit on this card is very difficult. Selma Dahlstrom, however you want to pronounce that, D-A-H-L, Strom, with Pop Your Heart Out was our song of the week. Tanya Marie Harris, Secondhand Dreams, along with Sleeper One with Ballad of Johnny in June, were all on the broadcast last week. What did the witness statement show, Ian?
Well, people disagree with us.
Did they now?
They did.
How did something like that happen? I mean, was it the fact that you were wearing a different shirt than you normally wear? What was the story?
Well, I went with song number 1, which was Selma Dahlstrom, and so did our guest Susie Chase.
Right.
And James went with Secondhand Dreams by Tanya Marie Harris, and it seems that this week, people agree with him. 67% of people on songwriting, 67% on performance, and 100% on mix and production. So song 1 did get a couple of props in songwriting and performance, but didn't make any on mix and production. So, yeah, James seems to be taking my people's person's persona. People's person's persona.
Say that 3 times fast.
Say that after a couple of drinks.
Yeah, no, say it sober.
Well, yeah, indeed. And, yeah, I'm not happy.
I don't blame you. I
challenge him to a duel.
Now, in the chat room, people are saying it's time to go to the radio. Time to go to the radio again. I'm going to look over here real quickly. I'm looking at the video stream. It looks like it's okay on my end. Now, that doesn't mean it is, but it looks okay. I don't know. Ian, how's everything else going out there? I know you've been busy, and things have been just 1,000 miles a minute.
Yeah, life's pretty hectic at the moment. Lots going on. Musically, unfortunately, not a lot, but we have got a couple of things. I'm trying to get a track that I've had finished for ages, which I was never happy with the mix on. So I spent some time today remixing that, and I've sent it over to our very own Mr. Chianti for mastering. So looking forward to getting that back. And I've got this funk track that we're working on, haven't we, Andrea? Just saying.
Yes.
And so looking forward to getting that. The video to that is coming along very nicely, and looking forward to getting that out once everything's in.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to that. Obviously, I got to see this video. I got to see what you did with all the dancers that you solicited from Fiverr.
I have to tell you, I I decided that there wasn't enough female presence in the video, so I went back to Fiverr and had a look through the dancers and found one young lady and sort of dropped her an email and explained what it was all about and what I needed and paid my Fiverr and basically got back soft porn.
Wow.
She was very good looking, and but it certainly wasn't dancing as I was thinking she might do, and she certainly wasn't wearing what I was expecting her to wear. So that one hasn't been included. That one's gone into the
private collection.
Behind the scenes collection.
The private collection. Come on, you just admit it.
Just saying. I mean, it's amazing what you can get for a $5 on Fiverr.
Yeah, well, there you go. If you're looking for some dancers or anything else that toots your horn, Fiverr is the place, apparently. I don't know. Our second panelist, Las Vegas, Nevada. I hear it's hot there. It's Andrea Bensmiller. Hey, Andrea, how are you?
I'm great. It's actually not hot this week.
Not hot?
No, it's been a little, I'm not going to say chilly because that would be stupid. But it's it's kind of windy, springish.
Now we had a lot of wind over the last week. So I know windy in spring makes it cold.
Well, I think everybody else had snow again, right? The whole rest of the country. So yeah, our temperature dropped by a few degrees. That's about normal.
So what is it now? 85?
The high on certain days is 80, but it's really kind of lingering somewhere around like 75.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible.
Yeah. We had a pool day a few days ago.
What I would give for 75. I'm just saying.
But we don't consider that hot, just so you know.
I consider 75 very comfortable.
Yeah, it's comfortable. It's comfortable for sure. Especially when it gets to like 115. You want it back.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I could deal with 115 too. Either way, I'm happy.
Well, everybody says that.
You're never happy.
I was in Alabama for over 10 years. 100, no problem. 95% humidity, that's where the problems come in.
That's true. That is a little icky.
And I know Vegas is a dry heat.
It is. But, we have some humid days here, too. It's gotten a little more humid than it used to be.
Now, do you write all that off to global warming, or is it because everybody's watering the lawn all at once? I mean, Vegas is a desert after all.
The humidity, I don't know. I mean, I think it's just weird. The whole West Coast, I think, is just different. I think LA is hotter than it ever was when I lived there.
Now, I have a theory. All right.
Okay.
My theory, because it's Vegas, there are a lot of people, a lot of tourists in Vegas. And most of these tourists imbibe. Follow me?
Sure.
They imbibe. And what I'm thinking is this. I'm thinking that it's the tourist. They're getting drunk. They're going out in the alley and relieving themselves, and that's where the humidity is coming from.
Ooh. Well, that would be a really, I don't know, not pleasant humidity.
Humidity never is pleasant. So there you go. That's
it's a theory. It's theory, Rich. I don't know.
Let's bring in.
I'll take some data points here and there for you and see if it actually pans out.
Talk to a meteorologist out there. Ask them and see if they can corroborate it.
Okay.
All right. Well, that'd be cool.
Gotcha.
I just make this stuff up, folks. That's all I do. Our guest panelist today, Mr. Dave Bryce, guitarist extraordinaire from the rock band Spider, the hardest working rock band in the world. It's true. Is Dave, how are you? First of all, everything going
Rich.
all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, all good.
Now, the hardest working rock band in the world is something that I say because I know it's true. I know that you guys, when you started out, you guys were the workhorses beyond anybody else out there playing day in, day out, multiple times anywhere you could play. Did you ever get in the world record book or come close to setting any world records with that kind of schedule?
I don't think so, but we certainly did quite a few gigs. We just play anywhere, and I suppose it was early on because we'd get our own book our own venues up and down the country, and we just constantly tour for I think it was 7 months we did with odd days in between. So I don't know about a record, but because there's a lot of bigger bands, they go all around the world. But we certainly had a go of it, yeah.
Yeah, I read someplace, I read in, I think it was Wikipedia. Of course, Wikipedia is the place for all knowledge. And it said, I think during a 3-year period, you guys played like 4,000 some odd shows.
We certainly did, yeah. Up and down the country. We used to play a lot of gigs in Scotland, and we'd plan it out, and we'd have our coach that we bought ourselves and kitted out and slept on the coach. And you could do that kind of thing in them days, in the 80s, sort of early 80s. Yeah, it was great. You could get into a car park, go to a motorway cafe and just sleep there and go on to the next gig. But I don't think you can do that these days.
No, you're probably right. I mean, there are a lot of security issues to take into account. I mean, I read someplace just this past week a musician had his van broken into and his gear swiped.
Yeah, yes, it does happen. Fortunately, that never happened to us because we slept with our gear. So
makes a big difference. Yeah. Makes it a little bit harder.
No room for groupies.
Plenty of room for groupies.
There was no need for groupies by the sounds of it. Was it a quarter-inch jack plug or?
Yeah, very funny, Ian. Very funny.
Ian's just not right. There's just something about it.
I know. It always goes. He always reverts back to that.
Yeah, he goes.
It's a story.
Yeah, right to the gutter every time. That's where he goes.
Yeah, never mind. But yeah, there are a lot of gigs, and we slept in that coach. Sometimes we slept in it for 3 months when we weren't gigging because we didn't have anywhere to sleep. So we just picked the car park. We didn't get moved on. I suppose we were like gypsies. That's what being in a band is all about.
Now that's a lot different than a lot of the artists today that you hear about. I mean, of course, indie artists across the country and around the world are probably doing and living much like what you guys did, gig to gig in the bands, wherever they can. But a lot of these other artists you hear about in mainstream audio living high on the hog and things along those lines. I mean, I know that you toured with a lot of pretty big name acts. And Uriah Heep, one of my favorite bands, and a number of others. You guys, how was it different when you were touring as opposed to out on your own, those kind of arrangements?
When we did support slots, especially Uriah Heep, because, that was such a special tour, apart from the fact that we were in a van at the time, and it was a winter tour. It was like January, February, and it was freezing cold. But there was 2 bands on the bill. There was us, Samson, Bruce Dickinson, and Uriah Heep. And Uriah Heep just took us under their wing and just looked after us. We got so much out of that tour, and Mick Box was such a fantastic guy. And, of course, Yannick Gers as well was the guitarist. So if you know Yannick Gers.
I've met him. I had a beer with him.
You had a beer with him?
Yeah, in Brentford.
He's a nice guy. Well, I don't know about what he was like with you, Ian, but...
He was a top bloke. Top bloke.
Yeah. really, really looked after us, and we got so much out of that. We got a drum deal out of it. I got the deal with Washburn. They sponsored us through that tour, so we got a lot. It was quite a big tour as well. And, yeah, go on.
Now, I was just going to ask. I mean, big tours. You guys have been on your fair share of them. Now, one of the things that I've always found interesting, and I know that a lot of indie artists don't get a chance for this, but a lot of signed artists do, a lot of touring artists do, and we talked a little bit about this during the pre-show. Contracts. Every artist on tour, I'm sure, has to undergo the whole contract a bit, whether it's through their manager taking care of all the contract issues or the band themselves that are doing it. It usually happens. And one of those things that are interesting about contracts is that most artists, most musicians have what are called writers on their contracts. Is this something that you guys had to deal with, or did you have management deal with contracts? How'd that work?
We had management that dealt with that, but most bands, the rider consists of crates of beer, plenty of alcohol. In our case, it was tea. Embarrassingly, tea. Lots of it.
Now, Andrea, back me up on this, because there are different kinds of tea, at least here in the States, and one of them is called affectionately Long Island iced tea, right?
Yeah. I don't think he's talking about that, though.
I don't. I'm trying to figure it out, because his first part, the preface aspect of this had to do with lots of alcohol, so I don't know.
He's talking about
maybe he's remembering it wrong.
No, I'm not.
It's just regular tea you're talking about.
We used to drink a lot of tea on tour, and we had a reputation for drinking tea. And anywhere we go, it would be a tea urn, good supply of tea, and that was it.
I could just see it. I could see security and the venue itself is warned. Spiders coming. These guys are teetotalers. Now, not just your regular teetotalers, but these guys really take it seriously.
Professional tea drinkers, yeah.
Is there like a league?
I'll tell you the story behind it. When we first started out, I was 16 and we were doing youth clubs. We were all 16 and Brian was 18. And it was 1976 and we were playing youth clubs and we used to drink. I was underage, but I used to drink and I used to get, sozzled. I won't say pissed, but so we would go on stage drunk, and it was very unprofessional. And we did that for about 2 years, and then in 1978 we left our families and that. We went to London. Streets were paved with gold and all that, and then we decided, we're going to knock this on the head, this drinking. And we're going to start getting professional. And we drank tea in any case, because we're from Liverpool. People from Liverpool drink a lot of tea. So that's where it stems from.
Now, in the chat room, they're making light of this, I guess, is the best way to put it.
I guess so. Yeah.
Pinky, the official janitor of MSI and soon to be the official chef of MSI, apparently, is stated that he was at 420 last week and there was a lot of tea that was burned on that day. So the question begs to be answered. We're talking tea and we're talking tea and not tea, right?
We're talking tea and not tea. No.
Okay.
Not herbal tea.
Not herbal tea, not any of that funny smelling stuff that I have smelt in my time. But that's another story.
Yeah. Well, next time we have you on, we'll talk about that story, and I'm sure
Let me tell you a little story, just how serious these guys are about their tea. I used to work for Brian Burrows, who was the bass player in Spire, and part of the reason how I know Dave now. And I used to work for him, and I used to have to make his tea occasionally. And he used to have we were graphic designers, and we used a Pantone color chart. And I can't remember what the exact number is, but he used to have a Pantone color that if you didn't bring his tea, that color, he would make you go and remake it. I got very good at making tea.
That sounds a little extreme. I'm just saying.
You ask him.
No comments.
You ask Brian.
Comments.
You ask Brian if we ever get Brian on the show, which we'd like to do at some point in time. You can ask him, and he'll tell you that he used to have a Pantone reference for his tea color.
I am going to make a note of that, and we will definitely do that. Dave, it's great to have you with us as always. I know that your son Dale is out and about. He's busy.
Yeah.
He couldn't be with you today, and he normally is your technical guy. And
he certainly is, but I know what I'm doing now. So
and he actually joined us on one of the broadcasts earlier this year as well.
He did, yeah. And I'm sure he might be on the show again. He's done a new song, and it's mainstream, and it's quite funky and poppy. So he's going for another sort of genre.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, so he's doing all right. And he's got an acoustic thing going as well, so all original stuff. So he's keeping his hand in with the music business there. So, yeah, good on him. Good luck to him.
Absolutely.
It's tough out there.
Yeah, no doubt. Best of luck to him. And, of course, we do have some music that we'd like to take a listen to today as well. And as we do every week, we select 3 artists randomly from all of those who have submitted music into Music Scene Investigation. Now, don't be discouraged if your song isn't immediately brought in front of our panel. We select these songs randomly, which means we don't know when they're going to show up in front of the panel. So please submit them. Keep track of them, and if you don't hear it right away, maybe send me an email, let me know about it, and I'll tell you again that they're selected randomly. Nothing we can do, no favoritism or bias shown here. That's kind of the way we operate. So 3 songs to take a listen to today. I want to start it out with song number 1 on the broadcast today, so if everybody is ready, let's get to it. Here it is, everyone. Song number 1 on today's Music Scene Investigation. Enjoy it. Here it is.
Sometimes it seems like time is dragging on and on and on and on. Clock ticks and drips, but nothing's ever changed. New day that beats, rinse and repeat. The world just spins along. That same old crap is gonna bring you to your knees. Whoa, party never ends. Just sex and drugs and rock and roll with friends. Dance all night, do it all again. Whoa, party never ends. There's always someone looming, breathing down your neck. Too bad that's life, you gotta make it your way. Feels powerless, stuck at your desk, all but under arrest. Well, listen up, my friend, 'cause I can set you free. Whoa, party never ends. Just sex and drugs and rock and roll with friends. Dance all night, do it all again. Whoa, party never ends. Come inside, enjoy the ride. I think we're ready to begin.
That is track number 1 on the broadcast today. We're going to go over to our panel, find out what their thoughts of it is. Let's start out with Ian. Ian, track number 1 over to you. What do you think about that one?
That rocked, didn't it? Big guitars and big drums, and yeah, good groove to it. Like this, very, very 80s metal. Sort of reminiscent of bands like Love Hate to me, especially when his sort of voice went sort of up a little bit and you sort of that rasp it. And, you know, the subject matter is very typical of the genre, a little bit cliched these days. I mean, you know, from the sound of the guitars, the bass, the drums, everything sounded great. I did find the use of reverbs on the vocal a little bit too much. I would like to hear that vocal a little bit more solid, and the whoa 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 whoas, whoa 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 whoas, set back a little bit in the mix, and with given a bit more space, they sort of tended to crowd that vocal a few times on the chorus. And I would have also dropped them out over that sort of solo at the end and let the guitar do its job. Again, that solo to me was a little bit buried. But I mean, not a lot of bad stuff to say about this. It is quite cliched for nowadays, and it's very typical of its sort of 80s metal genre. Where it would get placement these days, I don't know. But it is a great song, and there's some great performances on there. And, you know, very typical of what they're trying to do.
All right. Well, I appreciate your thoughts there, Ian. And see, I mess your name up too. It's all good, though.
How long has it been?
Let's see. We're going 5 years now, I guess.
Yeah, thanks, Rich.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you didn't use so many letters in it, that's the problem, I think.
3.
Too many letters.
3.
I'm
going to go with Dave and Andrea.
See, I'm American. Too many letters. I think you would appreciate that. Andrea,
you take half out of our words anyway.
Andrea, what do you think of track number 1?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Ian said. I liked it. It's a, you know, high energy, really well done. Like the guitar sounds. You know, drummer just killing it, really solid. Great bass parts. Everything about that part of it was great. I liked the mix. I thought the band was tight. I like the woes. And, you know, in general, I think it's really well produced, and it had a lot of really great qualities. I agree that the hook is a little out of date in terms of the idea. And the one thing that actually really, I think, was weakest was that the vocal was not necessarily too pulled back, but it just didn't have the same kind of energy that the rest of the track did. So there were times where you couldn't really understand the lead vocalist, what was being said, but there's also times when the performance itself was just a little bit too contained for the rest of the track. I mean, it needed to have some real life and some passion and some dig in it, and I didn't feel that. And there was a couple times it was a little bit pitchy here and there too. I thought it ended a little bit abruptly. It started with this great idea, you know, something panned to the right, and everybody coming in with this great kick at the top, and then it kind of ends, and you don't really expect it to end that suddenly. So maybe an ending that ties everything up. But yeah, great track. I mean, really, really well done. Very reminiscent of the 80s rock stuff, and but I really liked it.
All right. I appreciate it, Andrea. Now to the man who knows more about 80s rock than probably anybody else in the room, Dave Bryce from the rock band Spider. What do you think about that one, Dave?
What are you saying, Rich? You saying I'm old and
no, you actually,
dated?
Dave, I gotta be honest. You and I are probably pretty close to the same age. I was rocking back in the 80s too. The only difference is I wasn't in a van someplace sleeping in it. I was close, but not quite. So I wasn't in a band at that time until the late 80s. And I take that back, from 82 to 92. Never mind. We're in the same spot. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I think a great track. It really rocked. And I don't think it is dated. That kind of music's coming back into fashion. So you get a nice catchy track like that. with the whoa-ohs, and you find yourself singing along to it. I think my only criticism of this track is the guitars are kind of MIDI, very bassy. I'd like to see them a bit of treble in there, a bit more grittier. Loved the guitars, loved all the sliding bits. You know, I love that kind of thing. So I listen out for that. And great track, a really good track. It rocked.
All right. Well, there you have it from the man himself. It rocked. Ian's got the horns going, so it's all cool from their point of view. The name of track number 1, it's called, of course, Party Never Ends. It's by 3 Parts Dead. We appreciate their sending that track into Music Scene Investigation. Thanks a lot. If you want your music heard in front of our panel, all you have to do is go to musicsceneinvestigation.com. That's where you can get it heard. Submit it there, and we'll get it in front of the panel. Promise. Really do. Scouts Honor and all that cool stuff. 2 more tracks to take a listen to on today's broadcast. We're going to get started right now with track number 2. Here it is, everybody. This is track number 2. Enjoy it as well on today's Music Scene Investigation.
To me, well, there's no big mystery. Been too nice, then I'll pay all the mistakes that I made. And you've gone crazy. Yeah, yeah.
That is track number 2 on the broadcast today. Going to go over to the panel once again, starting out with Andrea. Andrea, track number 2 over to you. What do you think?
Just wow. God, yeah. You know, it's super cool. I originally thought, oh, this is going to be Rock Day. It's going to be kind of similar, but it wasn't, which was great. I love the intro. Slightly more live sound to this, you know, to this track than that super tight studio production thing. interesting idea on the chorus musically, really tight band. The only real problem I had, the guy's voice reminds me a little bit of Gogo Bordello. He's kind of got that, there's a little bit of an accent, but it's really edgy, and you can tell it's not supposed to be pretty. But I really couldn't understand a lot of what he was saying, what he was singing, and that was the only thing. There was no distinction in the track, and I really wanted there to be, because I got the feeling that this is probably a really interesting song, and I couldn't get any of the story, you know. But yeah, I loved it. So it's kind of crazy, super musical. I love the stops. I love the end, the outro. It sounded like it might start as a bridge, but it turned out to be the outro. Seriously cool, musically very grabbing, you know. So overall, I love it. I really wish I could have understood the vocal a little better. So yeah, really great track. Interesting band.
All right, I appreciate it, Andrea. Thank you. Over to Dave. Dave, track number 2. What do you got for me on that one?
It's right down Spider's alley, this one, isn't it? It's rock and roll. It's got a great riff going through it. I just love that riff. The only thing with the beginning is the drums went a bit crazy in the beginning. I think it was just an over the top intro from the drummer. But once the drummer kicked in, it really rocked. I can understand what Andrew's saying about the singer. Couldn't really understand him, but yeah, it was different. He was slightly different to your average singer, and I really enjoyed the track. I thought it was a good rock and roll track. The little bits towards the end, the little rock and roll bits, they were great. So yeah, good overall, good track.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you. Now over to Ian. Ian, track number 2, my friend.
Am I the only one that noticed that was basically the riff of "Tie Your Mother Down" by Queen?
I think you are.
It just left. They changed the rundown slightly. Missed a note out and put a couple of different ones in. Identical almost, which I struggled to get past, to be honest, because as soon as you get that in your head, it's, you're listening for other things. It was raw, it was energetic. There was a lot of good stuff going on here. I would have liked to hear this slightly more produced. And I thought the guy had an air of Roger Daltrey in his voice at times, which is a good thing. But yeah, he was pushed back in the mix, and I did struggle to hear what he was singing about and what he was saying, which is a shame. Personally, that riff for me, it was bang on "Tie Your Mother Down" by Queen. And as I said, from a listener's point of view, if that's the first thing you hear when you're trying to sort of sell someone an original track, you're kind of setting yourself up for a disappointment if they don't like your track and they prefer "Tie Your Mother Down" by Queen, if that makes sense. So I would change that personally. I would work on that a little bit and make it a bit more original, make it a bit more you, rather than ripping off Queen.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I appreciate that, Ian. By the way, Pinky and Box out in the chat room say, yeah, we recognized it too. And I noticed you guys were talking about it in the chat room a little bit as the song went through. So,
yeah,
I didn't see that. I didn't hear that riff in there. But now Ian's mentioned it, I can hear it. But there's a lot of riffs that you can base around that to get a good boogie song out of it. So, how many times has that riff been ripped off? Several times.
Yeah, well, let's ask Led Zeppelin. Maybe. I'm sorry. I've got a thing about Led Zeppelin and ripping things off. So, all right, track number 2. The name of the song is obviously called "Anger," and it's by Defigurheads, and we appreciate their sending that track into Music Scene Investigation as well. All right, we have one more track to hear, guys and gal. I think you're ready for it. I know I am. So let's get right down to it and hear track number 3 on the broadcast today. Here it is, everyone. This is track number 3 on today's Music Scene Investigation. Enjoy it, everybody. If I can start it here. There you go. That would be track number 3 on the broadcast today. We're going to start this round out with Mr. Dave Bryce. Dave, what do you think about track number 3?
Well, it's a good track. Really enjoyed it. Could hear the vocals nice and clear. I love that that feedback kind of sound, that harmony sound on the guitar in the middle of it. Really, really good. It really captured me, and I love the harmonies as well. Really, really good track. Enjoyed it. I think my only criticism would be that it needed some sort of guitar solo towards the end, something to leap out, so just to improve what is a good song.
All right, well, very cool. I thank you very much. Over to Mr. Ian Husbands. Ian, track number 3. Your thoughts?
Okay, there's a lot of good stuff going on here. A lot of good stuff. There's some slick production. The guitar sounds great. The drums are great. Everything's sort of sitting there. It is a tad hot in my opinion, but you know they're going for that power pop, punky sort of sound, and that sort of music is quite hot, really. This girl's got a fantastic voice, and let me state that before I go on to say what I'm going to say next. But I felt the vocal production on this was slightly wrong. She sounded a bit country, which is great. She done it really, really well. And as I said, she's got a fantastic voice. But I wanted to hear her voice a little bit harder and a little bit edgier for this track. You know, I mean, this sort of song that if you put someone like Kelly Clarkson or Avril Lavigne behind it, you know, they may have used that sort of song. It's extremely well written and extremely well produced. I just think the girl's voice needs to be produced so she's a little bit harsher and she's a little bit nastier. A bit more attitude rather than the sort of nice, sort of flowing voice that she's got, which just sounded a bit country for my liking.
Kind of reminded. Go ahead.
That's my only criticism of this track, really.
Kind of reminded me of Gwen Stefani.
No, not harsh enough, not hard enough.
Okay, all right. Andrea, what do you think about track number 3?
Yeah, I would pretty much say the same thing. I love the track. It's a great song, well produced. I thought there were times the drums were getting lost a little bit in the mix, and I thought it was a little bit too overcompressed because I try to listen at a couple different volumes when it's going by, and at a lower volume, the mix sounded really, really kind of like it was all down the middle and it didn't have much depth and you weren't really hearing the spectrum, which to me, and then you turn it up and you hear it a little more, but which to me meant there was probably a lot of compression going on, especially to make it that hot. So obviously that's a choice right now about what's going on in terms of how we master music, but it squashed a little bit too much for me. So from the track side of view, I would have liked to have been able to hear a little better those details because I think they did a great job on the production. I'll agree on the vocal. I mean, she's got a great voice. It sounds a little bit to me like this band, maybe they're young or maybe they're still in the middle of trying to figure out, you know, who they are as with the character part, they've got a sound, they've got some songs, and they went in and they produced either an album or a demo or, whatever they're doing. But it sounds like they really haven't quite figured out their personality as a band. And the lead vocalist has just kind of been popped in as a lead vocalist. And, that's a process for people to go through when you're in a band or when you're putting a band together for yourself to back you. What is the character of the band going to be? What are you going to have that makes you stand out to people? And I think, there's some edge that could definitely be added because the power is there on this track, but the vocal is really, really pretty. She's got a great voice, but it's more nice than edgy. So I do agree with that Ian said. But really, really great track. I mean, man, it's going to be hard today. These are some really good tracks, and I really liked it. Again, the mix a little bit too closed off because of the compression, but otherwise, really, really great.
All right. I appreciate it, Andrea. Thank you. Track number 3 Well, let's find out who that is. Track number 3 is Red Velvet Crush, their track called Girls Rock 2 on Music Scene Investigation. All right, now is the time where we invite everybody to go in and file your witness statements. You definitely want to do that. Click on the witness statement button, musicsceneinvestigation.com. You have all week to do it, but you can do it now and save yourself a lot of heartache and trouble. Just go ahead and do it. We'll wait. Now, actually, we'll throw it over to the panel. They can discuss what they've heard and make their Song of the Week selections while we wait. How's that? There you go, guys. Gal, what do you think about today's songs, and which one will you select as the Song of the Week? Don't everybody go at once.
Interesting, Mr. Bond.
They're talking about thwacking things out in the chat room, and I'm a little disturbed by it.
They should have double thwacked the thwack. No, they should have double twacked thwack or something.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit off color, I think. I don't know. Anyway, your thoughts on the Song of the Week selections, guy and gal?
Can't we talk about thwacking? It's
No,
easier.
no, I'd rather talk Song of the Week.
Okay.
Oh, this one's hard.
but okay, right, okay. I'll start and let's do some breakdown. Break it down. Number 1, we've got a sort of classic rock, love-hatey type rock tune, which I personally don't think has a lot of relevance at the moment, but Dave feels does. Okay, and Andrea sort of agreed and liked the track, and it was all good. Number 2, we agreed was a bit rawer, vocals were a bit lost in the mix, but had a lot of energy, and again was a pretty good song. And number 3, which is really slickly produced, very well written, could have a very current fan base if the right singer was on it. But the girl's got a great voice either way. So that's what we got to work with. It's my synopsis of the show.
It sounds like you've hit it fairly well on the head.
My problem is I really like number 2 in terms of how interesting it is. I think it's interesting and kind of crazy and very, very genuine. But I really had trouble understanding most of what the vocal part was saying. So, you know, I feel like I've missed something about it. But I do love the music. I thought it was great. I'm going to go with number 3. I'm going to go with it's a really, really well done track. And aside from that little bit of mismatch that we're feeling about the vocal and the track itself, I think it's solid. I think it's solidly done. And so I'm going to just stab at the dark and take that one.
All right. Dave, Ian, your thoughts?
David.
Well, right. Well, I think all 3 tracks were good in their own way, and all slightly different in that rock theme. But I'm going to go with track 3, and I disagree with what Ian says about the vocalist. I felt that she sang clearly. She was quite rocky. I love the harmonies towards the end as well, and I love the guitar parts as well. It's quite dynamic. So I am going to go with track 3, best of the 3 tracks.
All right. Down to you, Ian. Your thoughts.
How can I rock the boat on this one? It is a hard decision. We've got 3 great tracks, but I think number 3 is the best produced and best written song that's probably most current as well. So I'll go with that. All 3.
All right. Unanimous decision. Everybody, including the chat room, it looks like. Box of Crap says if it ain't got no sack, it don't have the thwack. I don't know what that means, but like I said, he's gone to the dark side, I think. So and
This is
by
where you need a translator.
yeah, I know. I wish Google could translate this conversation. By the way, Pinky says he liked the one that Mark listened to. So,
If you want to check out something interesting on Google Translate, right? Check out Google Translate Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
all right.
And there's a band who have taken the lyrics to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You know, this is a story all about how my life got that one. We all know it. And they've run them through Google Translate and changed it. I think it was Japanese back to English. And then they've played the music and got the guy rapping the new lyrics. And eventually they go through the whole video until they run it through every language on Google Translate and then play it back to English. And then he has to rap what comes out of that.
My
It's
God.
rather funny and rather interesting and very well done.
I think it would be. Yeah, definitely have to check that out. All right, a big congratulations going out to Red Velvet Crush. Their track Girls Rock 2 is our song of the week. So there you go. The Battle of the Sexes is done, and the girls win. There you have it.
Well,
Girls rock.
That is
The best track one.
they do. They rock.
I don't think we need the word "to" in there.
No,
They
just
rock.
girls rock, period, I guess. All right, well, there it is, everybody. Dave, thank you so much for being with us and hanging out with us today, man. It's always fun.
Thanks for having me, Rich. Always a pleasure.
We definitely love it every time you come out. We need to have you back more often. You know, you've got an image to upkeep as the most hardest working MSI guest panelist.
Image of tea.
You need to get him a shirt that just has the letter T on it and a cup.
That's why I've got a beer.
I see, you've changed your ways. I knew it. All right, well, there you have it. By the way, there's a link in the chat room to the video Ian just mentioned, so everybody can check that out. Thanks again for being here, everybody. Ian, Andrea, thank you as well. Join us again next week. We'll do this all over again. 3 new songs in front of our panel. And, of course, coming up the second Wednesday in May, the MSI hit list, of which every song of the week goes on to compete in, where they compete for prizes and PR from our partners and sponsors like Landar.com, Mastering Made Easy. You need to check it out, landr.com. That way you don't get wound up with these, Mastering Made Easy. See what I'm saying? All right, check them out. And certainly hope you join us again next week. MusicSceneInvestigation.com as Ian goes crazy. Ian, who's going to be on the panel with us next week?
I have no idea. I'll be honest with you. There you go. I normally try and say it's a secret. Well, we don't want to sort of spill too much. You always have a go at me. I don't know.
All right, well, at least you're honest. That's all we can ask. All right, see you again next time, everybody. We're going to play out with Girls Rock 2 by Red Velvet Crush here on Music Scene Investigation. Thanks for being here.
Bye.
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 And see ya.